Khan, hey. Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwa. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into a brief live stream. I'm pretty much continuing in the spirit of last night at camp. Through the spirit, we were speaking on this diabolical holiday known as Thanksgiving, where the reality of it really evolves around genocide, broken treaties, bloodshed, colonization, deceit, by the hands of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, upon the Native American tribes, bro. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to tap into some of the history oriented around this diabolical day, which is truly a day of mourning, for those of us of the tribes, of Native American descent. For you Akiyam and Akwat that may not know, on my dad's side, Cherokee is in my grandfather was a Cherokee Indian, man. My mom, I even got Native American on my mom's side. My mom, this Blackfoot Indian on her side, as well as Judah. You see, so the Native American descent is heavy in my blood, in my bloodline. But needless to say, I always knew. When I was growing up, I always clicked with Tainos. It's the strangest thing, but it's the spirit, Through my whole life, I always clicked with the Tainos. Not that there was an issue, with Judah, Benjamin, or Levi. It was just the spirit, like my best friends, growing up were either Ephraim or Simeon, And then there would be I had a few best friends that were, what you would call a heathen, Cambodian or what have you. But we know a lot of them Cambodians, they're Israel, preferably Judah. But needless to say, sticking to the point, I wanted to shed light, on the reality, of this wicked holiday, bro. Which is not a holiday at all. It's not a holy day. This is a wicked, very wicked, diabolical, evil day, man. And the history, that we're gonna tap into, sheds light, on the reality as far as why you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans shouldn't be celebrating this day. This is a day of mourning, bro. For what they've done to our people, man. You see? And this is why Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has commanded us, as the men of the Lord, to take a firm stance and prophesying against Mount Seir, man. When you go to the book, let me open up with that real quick, as a matter of fact. When you go to the book of bear with me, the book of Ezekiel, Salakia, bear with me, Ezekiel 35. When you go to the book of Ezekiel 35, hold on. I'm going to start from the top. Yeah, we're going to start from the top. And it reads, Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 1, and it reads, Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, man. Mount Seir goes hand in hand with Esau. This is where this dude was dwelling at. This is talking to Edom, and it proves it when you read down. The Lord calls Esau out. He calls out Idumea, man. And we know, pursuing the Genesis 36, that Esau is Edom. So wherever he sets up his throne, wherever he kicks his feet up at, wherever he's ruling from, hey, that guess what? That's Basra, All right, that's Edom. That's Mount Seir. All right, that'll be Petra. Now, you see? Now, real quick, let's continue on. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, man. And I will stretch out my hand against thee and will make thee most desolate. See, so the Lord's against Esau, man. As much as it may seem as if Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is working in Esau's favor, all right, it's the complete contrary. All right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is completely against the so-called white man, woman, and child. All right, it's just the Lord is a man of his word. All right, and Esau was given a blessing. Okay, he was given a blessing through Isaac, which was Yahweh Shai, if you can receive it, in Genesis the 27th chapter. Okay, and he's living out. Esau is living out his blessing. Is what's happening. Is what we're witnessing in real time. Esau is living out Salakia, his blessing. This is what we're witnessing. All right. So, hey, prophecy. See, prophecy. The Lord puts His word, as the scriptures tell us, He puts His word above His name. Okay. He puts His word above His name. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You see. So guess what? Esau's got to get his blessing. Esau's got to live out his reign of terror. You know, he's got to do what he's got to do. You know, and he's got to. The prophecy must be fulfilled. It's the way it's got to. It's the way it's got to play out. You see that? It has to play out like that. There's no way around it. You know. But and again, we can grab another precept proving that the Lord's not with this guy. Let me get another precept real quick. What is that? Psalms 50. All right. When you go to Psalms 50, I'm jumping down to verse 20. And verse 21 is the point. It reads this: Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. All right. Now, where slander goes into defamation. All right. Defamation. And this dude defamates our character every opportunity he gets. All right. Which he's so hypocritical that in his own system, there's defamation laws, bro. But here it is. He's doing that to us. You know. But here's the point. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, see? But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. The Lord's against evil bro. All right? And we've come into that conclusion. But prior to coming into this beautiful truth, through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we thought that Esau was him. Okay, we thought that was the way to be. A three-piece suit with Nimrod's tie hanging off your neck. I mean, with Nimrod's rod in the form of a tie hanging off your neck. All right? Get you a nice white-collar job and wiggle around the office, a cubicle, what have you, you know, walk around with a suitcase. You know, we thought that was it. We thought that was, you know, the epitome of life, all right, was to move around like a businessman, looking like Evil E, a CEO of a company, you know, riding around in a Lamborghini. We thought that was the way. No, man. And we come into the conclusion through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that the curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, bro. These people are cursed. As much as it seems like they're blessed. There's a blessing that's actually a curse. It tells you that in the scriptures, man. Okay? And just like Asaph, all right, man, let me get another precept. When you go to Psalm 73, real quick, and we're going to go back to Ezekiel. I'm just going through the spirit. And we got some information to cover regarding the true history of Thanksgiving and what it's oriented around, man. All right? And why Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, must pay for his treachery, man. And he will. All right? Starting with him blaspheming the Holy Spirit and coming up against our power. Psalms, what's that, 73? Bear with me, Yaki Amanakwath. There's a key point I want to get in here. There it goes. So I'm going to start up. Let me see here. I'm going to start up. Psalm 73, I'm going to start up. But we're going to end up jumping down. This is the Psalm of Asaph, right? Chapter 73 and verse 1, and it reads, Truly, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is good to Israel, even to such are of a clean heart, right? And that's ultimately the elect, those that are of a clean mind, all right? And generally speaking, the Lord's going to be good to Israel, because guess what? At the end, Israel shall be saved with an everlasting salvation, a world without end. Through the second covenant, we're going to fall into a position of righteousness, bro. We're going to be immortal. All right, we're going to have sovereignty. We're going to live forever. And of course, there's going to be levels to it in the kingdom. But all of our people will be righteous, and all of our people will be glorified, all right, in the eon to come. You see, truly power is good to Israel, bro. All right, let's continue on. But as for me, and we were in this position, check this out, in our minds, right? But as for me, my foot were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, bro. Okay? You see, so hey, listen, we're watching Esau prosper. Why? Because he's in his blessing. Okay? He's in his blessing. He was given what? That his blessing evolves around the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven. You know, he'll live by the sword. You know, the nations are gonna serve him. You know, point blank period. This is his time to shine. All right, but what's it say in Lamentations 4 and 21? Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. Right? Let's go get that real quick before we continue on in the Psalm of Asaph. Right? Lamentations 4 and 21, real quick. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. All right, and Uz is a buzzword for the U.S., if you can receive it. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. What cup? The cup of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's indignation. The cup of captivity, slavery, persecution, okay, starvation, you name it, bro. You're going to go through it in the kingdom. Look it. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked, bro. Okay? Look it. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. And we're in the time of her visitation. We're in the time of Esau being visited. But the key takeaway I want to get out of this is, all right, the cup is ultimately going to pass to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, in the form of the nation. Okay? So right now we're seeing him prosper on all levels. But as it tells us in Job, the triumphing of the wicked is short. Okay? You see? Look, let me continue on in Psalm 73. Right? Let's read verse 3 again. For I was envious of the foolish. This is the position we were all in before we came into this glorious light. Before the Lord put us on through his mercy with this truth. Look, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Okay? Look it. I'm going to jump down to verse 17. Until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Then understood I their end. Okay? So, hey, listen. There's an end of Esau coming. All right? And how he's going to go out is going to be catastrophic. Okay? The Lord is going to visit Esau with a judgment so horrific, all right, that it's going to be remembered for eternity, man. All right, that's how filthy Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to do evil eat. And what are we in a position of doing? Going back to Ezekiel 35, the men of the Lord are set in position to what? Prophesy against Mount Seir. We're going to bring out all of your damnable heresies, all your atrocities, all your trespasses, right? All your wickedness, man. All right? We're going to bring it all out. And this is what we're doing. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Through this truth, all right, evil East strongholds are being knocked down, man. And one of his greatest strongholds was some of his strongest strongholds are these holidays, bro. That he tries to orient it around righteousness, man. Nah, man. Okay? Christmas is wicked. Easter is wicked. All right? Halloween, one of the most wicked ones. All right? Thanksgiving, wicked. It's all wickedness, man. All right? It all evolves around wickedness, man. When you look into the truth of it. But guess what? Like it tells us in Job, I think that's Job 10. All right? The land without any order, where even the light is even as darkness, bro. You see that? Look at it. Back in Ezekiel 35. And I'm going to start from verse 2 again. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. I will stretch out my hand against thee, which is Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shai is the Lord's mighty right hand and right arm. All right, and I will make thee most desolate, bro. Okay, showing you that this is talking about America. All right, there's a spiritual overtone to this right here, man. We explained it already. Mount Seir will be likened unto America today, real time. Esau is Edom. All right, look it. I will lay thy cities. That's a buzzword right there. I will lay thy cities, and I will lay thy cities waste. Excuse me, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, man. So Esau is gonna know that it was the power that he's rebelled against. All right, for hundreds of years, longer than that. All right. I'm just speaking on a Babylon tip, you know, but truly he's been rebelling since he was born, man. Okay, this nigga was told not to we were told not to marry none of them Canaanite women. He went and married 2 of them. When you go into it, right? Look, let me continue on. Let me see here. Continuing on, right? Ezekiel 35 and verse 5, and it reads, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, their blessing, right? And the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, man. So the Lord's gonna meet Esau up, all right, with bloodshed, bro. The same way he's conquered the earth, all right, the same way he's brutalized and terrorized and cut off Israel, our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, and the eon to come, prior to that, in the form of the judgment he's gonna receive upon the Lord's divine visitation upon them, and then continuing on in the kingdom, that 1,000 years of captivity, that 1,000 year of captivity that these heathens, starting with Esau, gotta serve. All right, Esau is going to be he's going to be pursued, bro. All right, he's going to be pursued violently, man. All right, there's how the Lord's gonna do him. Because again, when you go into the law, when you go to, what's that, Numbers? Let me get this real quick. I'm going to get some information. We'll go into the information I got. Let me just get this. I just want to lay the groundwork through the Spirit, you know. We got to open up, you know, with precepts so we can make it all make sense. Right, Numbers 35, real quick, and 33. Right, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And this land's defiled by the blood of the saints. It tells you that in Revelation 17. All right, Revelation 19. Okay, when you go into 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 6. Listen, all right, this land is soaked with the blood of the saints, bro. Okay, there's a penalty for that. That blood doesn't just get swept under the rug and forgotten about. No. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is all about justice and judgment, bro. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is not playing, bro. No. It tells us that in Psalms 89. Justice and judgment is the habitation of his throne, man. All right. Mercy and truth shall go before his face, bro. The scriptures also say that judgment is justice and judgment is better than sacrifice, man. Okay, the Lord's all about justice and judgment. This blood's going to be disclosed, man. Let me continue on. Numbers 35 and 33, right? So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life. That's how the Lord gets down. That's the Lord. See? So this is what's about to go down. Now let's get some information, some evidence against evil E. Now, this is the truth about this wicked-ass holiday, man. They call it a holiday, all right, known as Thanksgiving, which we coined it as ThanksKilling. All right, again, this is a day of mourning, man, for those of us of Native American descent. It should be a day of mourning for all the tribes, bro, all right, because you Southern Kingdom brothers, you know, listen, we're your brothers, man, okay? What they've done, what they do unto us, they done unto you. What they've done unto you, they've done unto us, man. You see? It should be a day of mourning for all 12 tribes, bro. This is not a day of, this is why Jake is so stupid. You see how people celebrating this day is madness, man. And we're going to show you why. Now, real quick, all right, showing you that the unicorn is not willing to serve Esau. All right, I typed in the truth about Thanksgiving, and I put the Philip War, right? Because what you're going to find out is that the King Philip War, or the King Philip's War, sometimes they call it the Narragansett War, because the Narragansett was another tribe that joined with the Wampanoag, all right, as far as resisting these English, right, these Europeans, bro, these colonizers. Now watch this. Look at the truth about Thanksgiving connected to King Philip's War is that the initial peace between the English and Wampanoag people celebrated at the 1621 harvest, and it wasn't a celebration. This 1621 harvest is coined as the first Thanksgiving, but in reality, they were speaking on their alliance, right, and talking diplomacy and stuff like this. Okay, is what they were talking. There was treaties were being set in place, all right, by these liars, man. Okay, because what you're gonna find out over 50 years later, because of there were decades of matter of fact, let me just read. Right, it goes into this. Let's see. Let me read this again. The initial peace between the English and Wampanoag people celebrated at the 1621 harvest feast deteriorated into a brutal war within a generation. Right, decades later. Check this out. King Philip's War, led by Metacom, right, the son of Massasoit, right, the Wampanoag leader, right, he was the sachem, right, of the Wampanoag. A sachem means a chief, okay? So check this out. So the son of Massasoit, the Wampanoag leader at the first feast, was triggered by colonial land grabs. Listen, okay? This is what triggered the deterioration of the alliance, right here, all right? Colonial land grabs ended with the devastating defeat of enslavement of many Wampanoag people and a celebratory day of thanks for the colonists after their victory. So these colonists organized this Thanksgiving oriented around what? The bloodshed, destruction, genocide, and colonization of the tribes, bro. Okay? This is what this is oriented around this day. Let's go. Look at escalating tensions over time, right? The colonists desired for what? For more land, all right? And a sense of cultural superiority, over Jake. And this is how Esau gets down. But guess what? This is part of prophecy. All right, this is going in because remember, Esau's blessing was perfected via the Renaissance period. Okay? This is when he was granted access to the fatness of the earth. All right? This is where he was able to come over here to the new world, man, as they coin it. All right? Where we were at. The 10 lost tribes were over here. All right? And Cristobal Colon and the rest of these navigators knew that. And that's why they traveled with Hebrew Israelite translators, man. Or with Hebrew, yeah. That's why they traveled with Hebrew Israelite translators, because they knew they were going to come upon or cross paths with the Hebrew Israelites. They knew. You see? Look. King Philip's War, right? It started in 1675. It lasted until 1676. Right? Now, mind you, this is what? What was that? What year was that? 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71. Yeah, over 50 years later, right? This war was triggered. Why? We told you already through we read it. Right? Through what? Through colonial land grabs and them wanting superiority over us. All right? Culturally. Look it. But it was mainly evolved around the land and the resources that were here. You know how Esau gets down. He's never changed, bro. All right? Look. Right here. All right, so the King Philip's War, again, also known as the Narragansett War, right? This war was devastating, and it was sparked by colonial expansion and the execution of 3 Wampanoag men. All right, look at devastating consequences evolved around large percentage of Wampanoag nations killed, right, and led to the enslavement of many other Native Americans, bro, which caused displacement. Okay, because they were bringing us back to Europe. All right, they were bringing Jake back to Europe, bro. All right, which fulfills what's that? Deuteronomy 28 and 68, resting upon the northern kingdom too. Look it, a final violent end. All right, the conflict ended when King Philip was killed, beheaded, and courted by the colonists, bro. And his head was displayed for decades, man. Showing you how barbaric Esau is. They killed, okay, King Philip, which his name was Metacom, right? He was the sachem, right, of the Wampanoag nation. He was the chief. So upon these colonists, all right, winning that King Philip's war, they decapitated Metacom, all right, put his head on a stake and displayed it in Plymouth, right? You got Plymouth Rock, where stupid ass niggas want to go take pictures in front of it and act like it's all good, right? They put his head on the stake and left it there for over 20 years, man, to warn the other Native Americans, this is what happens when you try to be disobedient to what we want. All right? And this is what Thanksgiving evolves around. Right? Look it. In the aftermath of this bloody victory, the colonists, Slovakia, the colonists, I'm vexed right now. But needless to say, the colonists in Plymouth held a day of thanks, all right, to celebrate their triumph, which highlights the deep historical irony and violence behind the modern holiday, man. This is the reality, bro. And they don't really highlight the Narragansett, but I got some information that's going to do so. Now, right here, see the Narragansett, they also call it the Narragansett War, right? Because that was another tribe. They are allied with the Wampanoag. Now, real quick, check it out. The Narragansett War is often another name of King Philip's War that lasted between 1675 and 76. A major conflict in southern New England, all right, where Native American tribes led by the Wampanoag chief Metacom, right, King Philip, fought against English colonists over land and authority. All right, the conflict is sometimes called the Great Narragansett War because the Narragansett tribe played a central and powerful role, eventually joining the Wampanoag against the English. The war resulted in devastating losses for both sides, but it ultimately led to the near destruction and displacement of many New England tribes and opened up vast lands for English settlement, man. All right, this is how this place was established, bro. Through lies, deceit, broken treaties, genocide, man, colonization, bro. All right, and this is what this wicked ass day evolves around, man. You stupid niggas are celebrating. You see? Bear with me, Akiyam and Aqua. Because you already know what I'm about to do. If one of the brothers don't get him already. Shalak Rayam to this stupid nigga, Danilo Mikado. Now you can watch in Outer Darkness. You stupid bastard. Alright? Shalak Rayam to you and your family, man. Now I'm going to continue on. If you don't know what that is, death and destruction to you and your family, bro. Alright? May Yahweh Bashim Yahushua bring judgment upon you and your family swiftly. Alright? Going back to what I was at. Let me go back. Continuing on. Alright? Regarding the Narragansett, which was another tribe that was allied with Wampanoag, right? Trying to resist these fucking demons. as far as these Edomites are concerned, these English settlers. All right, excuse my French, man. All right, look at the causes was because of land disputes. Yeah, Esau was doesn't scripture say they covered lands by violence? We're gonna go get that. Micah, right? Look at causes, land disputes. A primary cause was the colonists' continuous demand for more land and the infringement of Native American territories, bro. Okay, let's go get that, Micah. This was the primary cause. And what's so heavy? Oh my goodness, man, the Bible is undefeated, bro. These scriptures are so heavy. The primary cause, all right, was due to the colonists' continuous demand for more land and infringement of Native American territories, bro. It was a land grab, was what it was. All right, the scriptures highlight this bastard, man. Let's go get this. Hey, and that's the reality behind this wicked holiday, man. For those of you that don't know. To you, beloved Aki Amenagwa, for the most part, I'm speaking to the choir. I mean, there may be some of you that didn't know the intimate reality of it. So now you do. We're here to edify. Let all things be done unto edification, as the scriptures say. But this is the reason why you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving. All right, it's a slap in the face, man. All right, to the lives lost, man. All right, the injustice that was done. Micah 2 and 1, and it reads, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." Right, when you're in your bed, you're in a position of comfort, right? Esau's in a position of sovereignty. He's in a position of control. Right, so he's able to devise iniquity, bro. All right, the reason why they were able to conquer us the way they did, and they pulled the Gatling gun out too. Let's highlight that. They had pulled that Gatling gun out too on us. But needless to say, the reason why they were able to be victorious was because, hey, the scriptures say, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai must fit the host of the battle, bro. All right, it was Esau's time to come up. It had to play out like that. Judgment came. The words of the Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's words of old flared up against us, bro. All right, and what was written in Deuteronomy 28 came to pass. All right, he'll sin against us. Matter, let me go get it real quick, bro, before I continue here in Micah. It's prophecy what happened, But the beautiful thing about it is that there's going to be retribution. Deuteronomy 28, real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48, and it reads, "Therefore," verse 47, "because thou servest not the Lord Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things." Right, we had transgressed our Lord. We were serving idols, and we can't forget, Jake was over here twisted, bugging, wilding, So judgment came, man. These are the words of old, bro. This was written before. All right, before all that played out. Which is what? Prophecy. All right. Look it. Continuing on. Continuing on. I'm going to start over. Deuteronomy 28 and 47. "Because thou servest not the Lord thy power, Yahweh, with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee." Okay? "And hunger, and in thirst, and nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee," bro. And when you type in yoke of iron, you're gonna see, all right, so-called Native American and so-called African American, right? The tribes, you're gonna see them with yokes of iron on their neck. All right, more or less the Southern Kingdom, because it's more highlighted. But if you do enough looking, you will find it. All right, there's actually a picture with Gad and Judah with yoke of iron on their neck, man. I gotta try to find that. Right, continuing on. So the Lord sent this nigga upon us, man. All right, because of our transgressions, bro. But the beautiful thing about it, as I mentioned, and as the scriptures highlight, there's gonna be retribution. Okay, there's gonna be a score settled. You see? And the Lord's ultimately going to end up sending us upon Esau and the rest of these heathen nations, bro. Okay? Of course, after he takes that first proverbial swing. Right? Ezekiel chapter, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49. And it reads, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, bro. Okay? Come on now. These niggas came from the old world, bro. All right, Esau leaped ocean to get to us, man. Showing you that he was being moved through the Lord. Okay, this had to play out. It had to play out. All right, let's continue on. The Lord, the Yahweh, shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. The eagle, that's a buzzword for Esau. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, right? They came over here speaking a bastard tongue. Okay? And what they did was they beat the Hebrew out of us, bro. Okay? They beat the Hebrew out of us, bro. They forced us to accept their religion. You know, in the form of Renaissance Christianity. Right? Look at a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor of the young, bro. This is what they've done. Okay, let's go back. But again, there's a penalty for what they did. Right? Back in Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. And so that Esau's been placed in a position where he's able to do these things, man. Job 9 and 24. Okay? But unbeknownst to him, okay, there's going to be a judgment. There's a debt he's got to pay. Okay? And and they covet fields and take them by violence, bro. This is exactly how he handled the Northern Kingdom in the form of the so-called Native Americans, bro. Gad and Reuben, this is how he handled us, man. Right? And they covet fields and they take them by violence and houses and take them away. The key takeaway of what happened during the Narragansett Wars or the King Philip Wars was the land grab. It's highlighted. That's the reality of that was the root cause behind it all. They wanted those settlers, the Esau wanted more land. He wanted more territory, bro. Okay? And the scriptures is highlighting this fool right here. Right? Micah 2 and 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, man. Then they do that. And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, bro. He stole our identity on top of everything else he did. All right? Esau said, you know what? I'm you. I'm the chosen people. You know? This is our Bible. All right? And the God that flourishes within it. These niggas turned around and declared being us after all the wickedness that he did. You got to think about how diabolical one must be. You know? And these are the founding fathers that these niggas nowadays you see walking around with their nose dumped up. Stand on that foundation, bro. Okay? Because Esau's never changed. He never will. Never trust thine enemy, bro. All right? These niggas done rusted over. They're worse than they were before. They got them a little technology now. A little AI. You know what I mean? They got them AI technology popping. Esau think he about to win. Okay, they're worse than before, bro. You see? They're not any better than what they were doing back in the 1600s, bro. Now, they're worse than these niggas right here we're reading about, man. They're worse now. You see? Let's continue on. Micah 2 and 3. Therefore, see, there's a penalty for these things. Listen, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, which is proud, for this time is evil, bro. So there's an evil time the Lord has set for Esau. And we're seeing the stages of it real time right now. This is why the Shedamite, all right, the modern day Shedamite, right, which is a so-called white woman, she got nigger problems right now, man. All right? And you see Esau. Okay? Hey, they're deteriorating, bro. They're being outbreeded. All right, they're losing on all levels, bro. All they got is AI hope. That's all Esau got. All Esau got is AI hope. Okay? An artificial hope. Because he's through. Okay? Real time. Esau's through real time. The Lord's about to visit this guy with evil. Let's close out with this. This just came to mind. Let's get this real quick. The book of Isaiah, chapter 34. And I'm going to start at verse 5 and we're going to read down. The book of Isaiah, chapter 35. Matter of fact, bear with me. Nope. We got to get this in the Good News Bible. Because it hits too hard in the Good News. The book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 5 in the Good News Bible. And it reads, the Lord Yahweh has prepared his sword in heaven, which we know that sword is talking to the ICBM missiles, those intercontinental ballistic missiles, which are the weapons of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's indignation, bro. Those are his weapons. His spirit's going to be on them when they're launched. That's why none of them are going to miss their destination. All right, none of them are going to lose their rank when the sword falls upon them, which is these missile defense systems. Nothing's going to stop them. Nothing's going to stop these missiles, bro. All right, look. And where are they aiming at? And now it will strike Edom. Woo! And now it will strike Edom, showing you that's going to be an aerial attack on Evil E. It's going to be aerial. The missiles, bro. In the form of them warheads, man. Okay? Look. 200 million of them if you can receive it. Right? 200 million warheads if you can receive it. Look at those people whom he has condemned to destruction. Let's read that one more time. The Lord Yahweh has prepared his sword in heaven. And now it will strike Edom. Those people whom he has condemned to destruction. The sons of perdition, bro. Okay, the so-called white man, woman, and child, bro. This is the reality, man. The Lord hates you. Look, his sword will be covered with their blood and fat, like the blood and fat of lambs and goats that are sacrificed. The Lord Yahweh will offer this sacrifice in the city of Basra. All right, mind you, Basra was a capital city in Edom. It will be likened unto America today. Okay, you got to look at the spiritual overtone of this. This is the reality. He will make this a great slaughter in the land of Edom. Again, Genesis 36:1. Esau is Edom, right? The people will fall like wild oxen and young bulls, and the earth will be red with the blood and covered with fat. This is the time when the Lord will rescue Zion and take vengeance on his enemies, bro. Let's read that one more time. This is the time when the Lord Yahweh will rescue Zion. Zion in the Hebrew, we always go over this, it's Tazayuan, right? Which goes into a memorial, goes into a parched place, right? It's another name for Jerusalem, all right, which is obviously talking to us. And look at, this is the time when the Lord will rescue Zion and take vengeance on his enemies, man. Okay? Let me see something real quick. Bear with me. Khan. Hey, and I'm going to leave it right there through the spirit. So you see Esau's, the recompense of Esau, for what he's done to us and the way the Lord's going to visit him, okay, goes hand in hand with our salvation. Okay? Hey, the Lord's going to bring it to this guy. Okay? He's going to bring nothing but evil to him, man. You see, but the elect is going to be delivered out of this, man. The Lord's going to deliver his elect. That's why scripture say, I got one more and I'm gone. There's the book of Psalms, chapter 90. 1, the book of Psalms chapter 91 and verse 8, and it reads, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, bro. Okay, those of us of the elect, Lord willing, we part of that precious number, we're going to see Esau's reward. Okay, the Lord's going to deliver us out of the destruction, and we're going to be on them chariots witnessing it, man. Revelation 15. You see? And prior to that, we're going to have up close and personal accounts as the Lord's delivering us out of different scourges and calamities. All right, that are going to be taking place surface level, man. Okay, before the missiles fly. Let me get a little more. Why though? Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, bro. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, bro. So the Lord's going to preserve the elect, bro. We got to hope and pray and continue to fight and strive, you know, to be part of that precious number. We can't make ourselves part of that precious number. We know that. But the scriptures say, put on therefore as the elect, you know, and that's what the hopeful elect are going to do. We're prisoners of hope. Hey, we qualify to hope. All right, being that we've been granted access to this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. All right, which is the greatest act of mercy Yahweh Bashim Yahushai could have bestowed upon us, man. All right, but circling around back to the point, all right, Esau is going to pay for what he has done. All right, and all these little wicked holidays you want to erect, all right, in your wicked queendom, all right, and try to paint the picture, all right, like it's a day of rejoicing, right, and a day of celebration, all right, it's gonna come to pass soon enough, bro, all right, that you're gonna be paid back for all the atrocities that you've done to the nation of Israel. Because understand this, what the Lord's about to do to you is for the controversy of Zion, bro, all right, and for his great name's sake, all right, he's gonna judge you up, and there's no way you can run. There's no way you can hide. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do. You can't rewrite history. You can't smooth out the Smithsonian Museum. There's nothing you can do that can change your fate. Okay? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, our beloved power, the true living power of all heavens and earth, all right, is about to meet this damn devil head on, Akiyam and Akwaf. All we got to do is stay locked in, stay prayed up. Wait ye upon me, the Lord said. He said, wait ye upon me. He's going to rise up to the prey, man. All we got to do is just keep putting up these supplications, keep putting up these curses on this place, bro, and stay patient. Keep suffering, man. All right, keep measuring the times. It's going down, bro. All right, it's happening. All right, it's going down. It's about to happen, man. We're going to see it. We're going to see it, man. Trust and believe, man. Just stay prayed up, man. Stay prayed up. Stay faithful, man. Lord willing, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai keeps us, all right, in his secret place. You know, Lord willing, he allows us to continue to dwell in the inner courts, man. All right, as we see men, all right, being thrown out into the outer darkness, man, losing their wits, all right, and suffering from the plague of the heart. We don't want to fall victim to that. So stay locked in, beloved Akiyam and Akwa. Lord willing, you were edified. And Lord willing, you were spiritually fed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And Lord willing, you were informed. All right, this is the reality of ThanksKilling, man. All right. And you're going to see your family members continue to celebrate it and say they're just doing it for the kids and say, this is what our forefathers and foremothers were doing, what I'm not. Hey, let them do what they got to do. They got, hey. Right? Ain't nothing we can do for them, man. You already know. I'm going to leave you with that, beloved Akiyam and Akwa. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. A double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you beloved Akiyam and Akwaf once again were edified, spiritually fed, and informed through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.